Yeah. All right. We are live on YouTube. How's everyone doing today? How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode number 1207. That's right, episode number 1207 of Navigating the Modern World with Eli, the Walking with Purpose live edition, live today from Red Morton Park. Yeah. Today, I'm going to be talking about when someone's exploitation of me for 6+ years ends and they still can't face the truth. One more time, today's topic is when someone's exploitation of me for 6+ years ends and they still can't face the truth. Hey babe, how are you doing? My lady, respectfully, maturely, and professionally is here in the chat. Welcome. Welcome, Dawn. I hope you've all had a great day. Dawn and I have had a great day. Dawn had a physical therapy appointment earlier today, and that went really well. And Dawn and I had a great conversation earlier. I'm not going to get into that. What I will say, it was really good. We sat down for an hour and just talked, and it was really nice. You know, communicating with your partner is extremely important. You know, today I'm going to be talking about something for the last time, for the time being. I'm not saying I'm never going to talk about this person again. I probably will. I definitely will. I'm not going to talk about him for a while. But today, I really felt the need to talk about this because this is involving someone that I've known out here on the YouTube platform, another YouTuber. I've known him for 8+ years. And I'm suing him in a circuit civil case in Seminole County, Florida, which is his jurisdiction. I'm in California. He's in Florida. And there's a lot of the backstory that many of you don't know. And I'm going to share some of it tonight here. But the reason why I felt the need to do this is because he put out a stream last night, or he did a stream last night, and he's just not being truthful with his audience, and he's not accepting any responsibility of what he's done to me. And, you know, I've pretty much accepted what he's done to me. And that's why, you know, I'm trying to not let it bother me as much anymore. I really don't let it bother me, but it has affected me. It has affected my reputation out here on YouTube. It's caused me an extreme amount of emotional distress in the past, and at times it still does. The amount of damage this person has done to me, and the amount of money, the substantial amount of money that he has made commercially exploiting my name and my likeness, massively violating my copyright, and creating fake narratives about me or taking things way out of context, painting me as a criminal, which I am not. Stating things that are not true about me as facts to his audience because they won't tune into anything else besides when he tries to paint me as a criminal. As he's beginning to see right now, his numbers are way down, and he's upset that people don't want to tune in to his actual content. And I'm going to say the same thing here tonight as I told him many years ago when I was trying to get him to stop exploiting me, violating my copyright, defacing my professional picture, rebroadcasting my entire live streams as they were happening live, and not just one day, but many days in a row, right? Hey, Tia, how are you doing? How you doing, Tia? Welcome to the show. This guy went live last night and basically sounded like the biggest frickin' spoiled brat on the planet. And in the past, I have called him a spoiled and entitled millennial. That is my opinion, and I can express my opinion as my protected speech. He is a spoiled brat. He is a spoiled and entitled millennial, and he's also never ever, I've said it many times, I'll say it again, he's also never ever learned responsibility. His parents never taught him responsibility. They've never held him accountable. No one has ever held this guy accountable for anything. And that's the main reason why I feel he did what he did to me for the last 6+ years. Commercially exploiting me for a substantial amount of money. Everyone knows that's been around. Now, I don't know the exact amount. It's a lot. What I can't come out here and say is that he exploited me for a substantial amount of money. Give me a second here. I gotta put this back in my pocket. Sorry, give me a second. Now, he has some nerve to go live and try to sound like, oh, I tried to remove myself from this a long time ago. I really wasn't even making much content on him or something like that, right? The truth of the matter is, sir, you had stopped for a while, and then when everything else dried up for you, you came right back to rebroadcasting me. You started to reuse my content, and that's why I started to file copyright on your channels, and I took 2 of your channels down for violating my copyright. And then I sued you in the Copyright Claims Board, but since you opted out of the first case, and there was a second case I filed on you, I dismissed that one without prejudice and reserved my rights to sue you in federal court within 3 years. And I can still do that once this circuit civil case ends with you. So I tried to assert my rights there, and you opted out. And I could have gone directly to sue you in federal court, but I said, you know what? I need to really sue for what's really happening here beyond copyright. There's a lot more. This guy has massively violated my copyright. But more so, what he's done is caused me reputational harm through his defamation for dollars campaign for years. For many, many years. This guy's trying to make it sound like right now that, oh yeah, he just, would make content on me every once in a while. Oh yeah, I get bored of making the same content. You didn't get bored of making the same content about me. There was a point in time where you were rebroadcasting me every single day for 2 to 3 years straight. You must have rebroadcasted at least 300+ of my live streams as they were happening live. Maybe more. You were getting paid by the Texas guy, the caregiver guy. You were getting paid $3,000 a month, I heard, approximately. Let's just call it, you were getting paid a substantial amount of money from the caregiving guy that inherited all that money from his family. And during that time, you were rebroadcasting my live streams in their entirety as they were happening live and making other videos about me. And putting the Texas caregiver sponsorship video. I still have those videos. There'll be evidence at some point in this circuit civil case. I just haven't submitted them yet. I will eventually submit them. And I know it's past the statute of limitations, but I can use past evidence to create a pattern, right? Now here's the thing. This guy goes live last night and is whining like a little baby. Can you folks still hear me? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly. This is typically the bad reception area. And I kind of want to wait till I get through this to get further into it. 1. So thank you. This guy is trying to downplay what's happened in the past. He tried to downplay what happened in the past on his stream last night. And he's also upset at the same time that no one wants to watch his actual content. So he's downplaying what actually happened in the past. Where, the record speaks for itself. I have all the videos. I have everything. I have all the evidence that he's done for the last 6 years, right? He's trying to downplay what happened during the last 6 years where he harassed me, stalked me, defamed me, exploited me commercially, massively, defacing my professional image, sexualizing it and all that. So he's really dumbing that down. And then he's mad because he's pivoted to not making content on me anymore. He's pivoted to not making content on me anymore. And he's not getting the traction from his audience that he used to get when he would talk about me. So, what is that saying? Let me clear it up for everyone that may be wondering, and most of you that have been around for a while are not wondering at all, right? What that is saying, like I was going to say it a second ago, I'll say it right now. What I told this guy years ago is that what you're doing in the drama and using me for content over and over and over again is not sustainable long term. It is not sustainable long term. Right? And the funny thing is, he actually admitted years ago, after I had mentioned that for the 20th time, that it's not sustainable long term. But then eventually he continued to come back to rebroadcasting, restreaming my entire live streams as they were live, making other content on me, because he realized that the audience that he has is like, I would say 95+% Eli haters and are only there when he does Eli hate content. He's beginning to surely see that right now as he tries to pivot away from making content about me because we are in litigation. And despite what he tells you, I've made great filings with great exhibits, all properly filed. Hold on a second. I've made great filings, all properly filed with lots of evidence to prove what's really going on. And all he's done is file very emotionally overreactive filings. That the judge is going to look at his filings, the judge is going to look at my filings, and Judge Stacy will be able to see a definite difference in contrast between his filings and mine, right? We all know that, right? But regardless, this guy has some nerve to publicly show his face and talk to his audience and get upset at them pretty much without trying to get upset. Like he was passive aggressively upset at his audience because they weren't interested in his pop culture content. Now, why is that, sir? Why is you know why that is? You were kind of hoping these people would continue to support you after you stopped making content on me, but you know that audience is the audience you built specifically to attack me, because you built that audience initially by going and picking up people that I banned for violating my rules here on my channel of no trolling, no hating, no attacking. You swooped up those people and then you created the Eli hate train. And now you're upset because the Eli hate train, because you're in court and you're being held legally responsible, and you're being held responsible in general for the first time ever in your life, because you're being held responsible and you have to pivot away from this content, these people now are done with you. They're like, there's no more Eli content from the defendant here? Well, we're not going to show up. And they might show up for a few minutes just to say hello. But when you start talking about whoever you're talking about, nobody cares about that. You think they want to watch you share a news story that's shared by many other more popular, more decent content creators? There are many more content creators out here sharing those stories. Now, you have the right to make that content as well, but you don't have the right audience. You have an audience 95+% full of Eli haters. You know it, right? You know it. And here's the thing. You're trying to salvage that audience to like your real content so you can try to prove to me and everyone else that people were always following you for you, not because of me and the hate content. You hate to admit the truth that the only reason those people were watching you was because of me and the hate content you're making on me. It's a really strong telltale sign that people are not supporting your actual content. Yeah, you'll have a few people that are going to follow you no matter what, right? But I think now the defendant in this case is beginning to really see the repercussions of his actions. And it's not just going to be in the court of law. This is going to be regarding YouTube optics. Even the YouTube audience is seeing the difference in contrast between him and myself. This dude is trying to downplay what actually happened. He's trying to downplay what actually happened. He's trying to downplay to all of you what he did to me the last 6 years. Let me explain to you what he's done to me. Again, he was paid a substantial amount of money monthly from a person named Brian. We'll just mention his first name. That was running a supposed caregiving company that had just inherited millions of dollars from his parents that passed away. And he wanted to start a caregiving company to provide people with better options on caregiving for their elders when that time comes. But what did he end up doing? He ended up sponsoring people like the defendant and other people in the defendant's community that were making hate content on me. And then these people were putting the sponsorship video of the supposed professional caregiving company on hateful videos of me, where the defendant would simulcast me, rebroadcast my entire live streams as they were happening live, putting rainbow penises in my mouth, putting brassieres on me, and other stuff, right? Defacing me, right? Stealing my viewers while live, right? And then running a donation ticker at the bottom called trigger the Eli fund or trigger the CUCK fund, right? Whatever fund, right? So that was one aspect. Nobody told me you were live? Well, what about notification? Make sure you hit the bell and select all, GLM. I mean, that's all good. So, and on top of that, many years ago, he tried to paint me as a predator, as a pedo. He tried to paint me as that. He tried to conspire with a 12 or 13-year-old boy that was a part of his Discord, and people are telling me they have proof of that. They're going to send me that, along with another guy named Blake that is a manic schizophrenic, and he had some other issues as well too. This guy had some severe mental issues. So he got with a man that had severe mental issues and a 12 or 13-year-old boy, and he was telling them to contact a channel called Manosphere T-Spill and paint a narrative with them that I'm a pedo, right? Now that happened 6 years ago. It's beyond the statute, but it can still be used as evidence of, a pattern. It can be used as pattern evidence. But this is what he's done. It started way back then, and he kept on amping it up. Here at the park, he got involved with Mr. and Mrs. Ka and a PT Cruiser that was stalking me at the park. Because when I did a live stream one day. I saw the same PT Cruiser that had been following me around the park every day when I was walking several years ago. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. And then I walked up to the PT Cruiser and I said, "Are you Mr. Caw? Mr. Caw, who's that, Mr. Caw?" "You're Mr. Caw." I didn't say that, but in my head I'm like, "You're Mr. Caw." I got the license plate and all that, right? I ended the stream. That dog is out tonight. I ended the stream about 5-6 minutes after that. Immediately after I ended the stream, I put the stream to private. You cannot download YouTube videos until YouTube is done processing them. Typically that takes anywhere from 30 minutes to 12 hours, depending on how busy the servers are. So there was no way the video processed. I immediately put that stream to private. Next thing you know, 2 hours later, the defendant put out a video called "Stalked by a Cop." Apparently, the defendant was screen recording the video. Now, he's tried to claim that, oh, someone else screen recorded it for him. Nope, you screen recorded it. You edited that video pretty quickly, you put it out there, and it never, ever hit the replay. You were screen recording because you plotted what happened at the park. And if that wasn't Mr. Caw, then that was someone else that you planted there. That was all staged. So you've gone real life on me for your entertainment content. Starting about 4 to 5 years ago, you and your group started to paint me as a criminal. You accused me of embezzlement. You stated it as fact. And to this day, you're still putting out there as fact that you believe I embezzled when you know I did not. And you know, all you have to do is contact my former employer and they'll testify to that. And if I have to get them to testify to that, to clear my name in this case, I will. Because that never happened. That was a false narrative made up completely. I never told anyone anything like that because it never happened. I'm not going to say something happened that never did. But you folks ran with it. And here's the thing, defendant, you know that was a joke. And now what's even more of a joke is that you're trying to reframe the narrative as, that's what I heard you told someone. No. That was something you plotted behind the scenes, sir, in my opinion. You plotted that. And now because you're being sued over it in court, you're trying to create a narrative that can bail you out of this, right? It's a little too late for that. Little too late for that. Hey, GLM. GLM says the cause and the defendant intentionally went to great lengths to make Eli believe that was Mr. Caw. They thought that shit was so funny. I was around them when they did it. Would you be willing to testify for me under oath regarding that, GLM? Because I'll tell you this, if that woman that's trying to serve you ever tries to serve you, she tried to serve you a second time, and I guess, you know, she tried to serve you at the wrong address. Now she wants to serve you by publication. Oh, well. That's not going to fly because it's not your right address. She hasn't tried to serve you at your correct address. But anyway, whatever. That's none of my business. They literally said it was them multiple times. Why would Eli think any different? Right. Right. It was them. And so, look, that's also beyond the statute of limitations, but that also can be used and will be used at some point as evidence of the history, right? That's another thing that the defendant has done to me, right? And every time I would go anywhere, him and other people he was working with and collaborating with, anytime I would go on anyone else's streams, they would follow me there. After I would leave the panel, they would go on the panel, and they would intentionally turn those people against me, leading those people to believe I was a bad person so they could support the defendant and the defendant's group. Instead of me. Now here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. That's a little bit about what happened. I mean, there's a whole lot more, but I think you all get the gist, whether you've been a part of this for a while or you're new here. So where are we at right now today? What's really happening with the defendant? First of all, all of us that know this guy know that he cannot keep his mouth shut when he's under scrutiny, even if it's his fault. And it's typically always his fault when he's under scrutiny, right? The fact he's not talking right now, except on some live streams, in a way he's trying to make appear that he's cool, calm, and collected, which is just a front. He's really ticked off deep down inside. He uses stock accounts. Now, I don't have proof yet until we hit discovery. And when we hit discovery in the case, I'm going to request court-ordered subpoenas to Google, YouTube, and other platforms like Discord and all that. And we'll find out. But it's ironic to me that many channels like Out of Time, Freedom of Speech, Walking with no purpose, or like a tortoise or whatever, right? And a few other channels are amplifying by sharing the community postings of the Kit channel, the Kit C channel, right? And it's interesting to me how all of these people have the same cadence. They write, especially like Kit writes in extremely long, demeaning paragraphs. And Kit C has said he's across the pond in the UK. You don't write like someone from the UK. You write like someone that's severely triggered about the truth exposing lies. You write like someone that's exposing the truth about your lies. Let's put it that way, right? You think I'm naive and dumb. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. I was exactly there, GLM. GLM, I was live. And you've actually met Mr. Ka and Mrs. Ka in person. And you can 100% verify under oath that it was them. GLM. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not asking you to testify right now, but if necessary, you would be willing to testify under oath, under penalty of perjury, that that was Mr. Ka and the PT Cruiser. Let's wrap this BS up right now, because that guy in Florida that I'm suing has been spinning these narratives all along, and he's been getting away with all this false stuff about me for years, and it's time to put that to an end. Not just in the court of law, but also for YouTube optics. Did you hear me, GLM? Can we put this to rest once and for all? Would you be willing to testify under penalty of perjury if necessary? I'm not saying I'm going to have you testify, but if necessary, because I'd be willing to testify for you, GLM. Give me a second here. Give me a second here. Oh, GLM's not responding. She comes in and out. It's all good. I'm glad I put my gloves on. It was like, it said like 54 degrees when I stepped out of my car, but it feels colder. Email me all legal questions on my designated and approved email. All right. Sounds fine, GLM. I was kind of hoping that you would vindicate me live on the air, knowing that by knowing that's Mr. Cobb. But hey, it's all good. I'll take that as yes. It's verifiably Mr. Cobb. I did pop out, but I heard the end of the question. Well, I want to ask you a question, GLM. Can you verify, because you've met Mr. and Mrs. Ka in person, can you verify 100% that the PT Cruiser had Mr. Ka in it? I actually approached Mr. Ka in that PT Cruiser. Now, I never showed him on camera. I never met them. I thought you said you had met them. Hadn't you gone public and said you know who they are? Or was that just something you were saying back then? Or is it something you just don't want to talk about? I remember stuff like it happened yesterday. That was completely Mr. Ka, because if it wasn't Mr. Ka, then why would the defendant make a video called "Stalked by a Cop"? Right? Think about it. He called the video "Stalked by a Cop." I still have that, right? Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's another instance right there, right? No, we only talked. Mrs. Ka showed me what they look like, that's all. Never met them or anything like that. Oh, so she showed you what they look like, so you probably still have an image of them. Okay. So if I need to subpoena you to identify them, then you have the picture, right? I'm not saying I'm going to do that, GLM. I have a lot of respect for you. I'm just saying that now that I know you have an image that would identify them, if I need them for this case, then you've got it. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Of course, I would email you behind the scenes at your professionally designated email. Wow, that sounds like a big ass dog. Whew. It's time to go. My God, time to go. Dogs are very territorial. You know, they're very protective of their territory and their owners, right? It's pretty busy here tonight because they have some event going on. I'm going to wait for these cars to move. Well, I've got a little gap right here. They're all waiting to get out. There's a lot of them coming out at once. People pulling in. Wow, the community center has a pretty cool setup for Christmas. I should bring Dawn here and we should check it out. All right. Because there's a major event going on here, people are just coming in and out really fast. Sorry, we are back live. We are back live. I froze for a second. Can you folks hear me and see me clearly now? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly. I froze for a second, but I reset it. Can you folks hear me and see me? Thank you, babe. Respectfully, maturely, and professionally. Thank you, Tia. They both put a 1 in the chat. So here's what really just how to say this the right way. Here's what's really sad. What's really sad here is that the defendant is never going to accept responsibility for his actions. But clearly, he has pivoted away from the Eli hate content. His audience no longer supports him. At least most of them, they don't support his other content because that's not what they were there for in the first place, right? And now he's got this court case, and he's not thrilled about it. And then he said, I don't care how many people, I don't care what I say, and if exhibits get filed, if any exhibits get filed or something like that, right? So he's literally flipping out in real time on a YouTube live stream saying, I don't care how many exhibits are filed on me. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want to say, right? It's your right to say whatever you want to say. But if you say something defamatory, that's going to be used against you, right? But here's the thing. Even if you're just coming out and saying, you know, I don't care how many exhibits are filed on me, you're basically showing disrespect to the court of law, disrespect to the system, right? And you know why you're showing the system disrespect? Because you're mad. Oh my gosh, that car turned long before that car was going and it honked. The car was just going way too fast. Car was turning into the parking lot. And they had plenty of space, and the car was coming on the other side and was literally going like double the speed limit, and then honked literally like 1/8 of a mile at the person turning into the lot. Man, these people are really entitled nowadays. Wow. Hey, Lewis, how you doing? Angels, how you doing? Let me ask you a question. You told me that the other woman was live last night, and unless she deleted her stream afterwards, I never saw anything there, and they're claiming that they never did a stream last night. Why would you tell me that there was a stream going on last night when there wasn't? I'm doing great, Eli. Hey, Angels. I'm just curious, and I don't care. I'm not mad. Even if you were lying, maybe you thought there was a stream and there wasn't. I don't care. Even if I'm being accused of buddy trolling, which is a really stupid term. Oh, she was absolutely live? Do you have screenshots from it? Was she, let me ask you this, Angel, was she rebroadcasting me, which is why she deleted it? I'm not saying you're lying. I'm saying, I asked you, why would you tell me she was live if she wasn't? But you're saying she was and she deleted it. Was she rebroadcasting my stream as it was happening live? Yes or no? That will answer everything. No, I'm sorry, I didn't take any screenshots. Well, I'm asking you, was she rebroadcasting my stream as it was being broadcasted live, Angels? She was talking about you, but I didn't notice if she was How can you not notice that? It would either be there or not. So apparently she was just talking. Okay. Well, I don't care. It doesn't matter. And here's the thing. Even if you were lying to me, I would believe you more than her on her best day. So, hey, her track record isn't good. So I would trust you more on your worst day than her on her best day. So it's all good. Let's move on from that. Thank you. So the defendant now is trying to make it appear like, oh, I'm pivoting. I pivoted a while back. I've been done with this for a long time. No, you haven't. You have not been done with it for a long time. You've only amped things up. Even up until the last few weeks, then you stopped, right? You made the I believe you embezzled video, then you made a snippet short of it. It's still publicly available, right? And all the other things that you've done in this case. You've accused me of spoliation of evidence, which is not true. I offered you the evidence. I offered you to give you all the evidence, self-hosted in the same ways as it was on YouTube before I put it to private. Then you said, I'll let the court handle it, right? What you were really saying is, I want the YouTube optics to show otherwise than what you're doing, right? So here's the thing. You see, everything that you've done in this case so far, along with the other person you're acting in concert with, has been 100% for YouTube optics. And now you're realizing not only have you lost the YouTube optics war, which I have the right to defend myself and correct the truth, right? And regain the trust of the people that you've tarnished for years, right? Not only have you lost the YouTube optics war, and same with your buddy, your supposed buddy that's helping you in concert in Florida, same state you're in, you have also put yourself in a position in this case that, to me, it's like, wow, just look at his filings compared to mine. And then he has the nerve to say that my anti-slap is coming and this is going to be over. Here's the thing. Anti-slap is only for defamation. And I have clear-cut evidence of defamation of you calling me an embezzler. You've called me a fraud. You've called my business a fraud. You've stated all of this as facts. And there's a whole lot more, right? But on top of that, things that don't involve the anti-slap, which are a part of the motion to dismiss, malicious prosecution, you tried to get a stalking order on me, abuse of process with the process server video, how you exploited that, you commercially exploited that, you brought the process server on your channel while you were accepting donations for that. And then intentional infliction of emotional distress, what this has cost me emotionally. You have no idea. You have no idea how much harm What you've done has cost me beyond what I've even mentioned. You have no idea how much harm this has cost me. And you have some nerve. You have some nerve to try to save your face in front of your own audience that already knows you're full of it. Your own audience that is not even really your audience. They're just haters of me that'll go anywhere Eli hate content is made. You never really had an audience. You're beginning to realize you've never had a real audience. I've always had a real audience. It's been smaller than yours because your audience was fake all along. Your audience was my former audience, right? You've never had more people, more real people supporting you than me. And I'm not trying to compare. That doesn't matter to me. But I'm just correcting the record. I'm correcting the record once and for all. Because this is what you don't like. What you don't like is the fact that I'm holding you accountable. I'm holding you accountable in the court of law. That's what you don't like. Because no one in your entire life, like I've said it before, and this is my opinion, no one has ever held you accountable, including, in my opinion, your parents. You are used to getting your way. You are used to mistreating people, abusing their copyright, right? Making up false statements about them. You've done that to more people than just me for many years out here on this platform. And you've gotten away with it because no one, you never thought someone would have the balls to sue you over it in a full-blown civil case. And then you're thinking, if somebody even had the balls to do it, could they afford the attorney, right? Well, I can't afford the attorney, but I have the balls, and I figured out how to represent myself, and here we are. And now, for the first time in your life, you have to face something you've never, ever had to face in 40 years of life, accountability. You've never, ever had to face accountability for your actions. That's what you don't like. That's why you're down. That's why your own audience is leaving you, because they know you're being exposed right now for what you did to me for the last 6 years. They know that. They themselves know that. And I have the right to defend myself. And hey, if you want to create an exhibit on this and show this to Judge Stacy, heck, I'll show this to Judge Stacy myself. Because I think Judge Stacy will understand after she sees all the evidence of what you've put me through for the last 6 to 8 years. She'll understand I'm trying to clear my name that you've tarnished. You thought that you were going to get away with it. You, for the last 6 years, you've done things to so many people on this platform, primarily me, but you've done it to many others too, right? You've done it to many others as well. And you thought you were invincible. You thought that you could sit there and talk shit about people on the internet, which you can do that to a certain extent as long as you don't defame them. But you thought you could sit there and defame people for dollars and make up things about people as your content to continue your sponsorship from the caregiver and to continue getting donations from other people that were only donating to you specifically to target me, right? You thought that would last forever. You thought that no one could ever challenge that. You thought that no one would ever be able to stop that. You thought you were invincible, and guess what? You are not invincible. You thought there was no way I was ever going to be able to defend myself. And even though I'm the plaintiff, I still feel like I'm defending myself from you lying about me on YouTube. And even if not directly through you right now, you're using third parties, and you know it. And you're using stock accounts, and you know it. Now, I'm not directly accusing you. I'm just saying everyone knows you're using them. Everyone knows you're not capable of staying quiet in a moment like this. The reason why you're trying to appear like you're quiet on your main channels is because you don't want to give me any more exhibits, any more evidence to file with the court, because you've already given me way more than enough, right? You've already given me more than enough, way more than enough. Let me tell you something, defendant. Your defamation for dollars of Eli business is now in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Listen to me. Your Eli defamation for dollars business of over 6+ years is now in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Time to restructure, right? You're already doing that. You're in Chapter 11. You know, it's a figure of speech. You know, Chapter 11 is what companies file when they're about to go bankrupt, and they're going to try to restructure and save the company before they file like Chapter 7 or something like that, right? What's it, Chapter 7 or Chapter 13, something like that, right? I think it's Chapter 7 or 13. Sandra Palacio, how are you? How are you? Sandra, welcome. Welcome back to the channel. God bless you, Sandra. How you doing? How are you doing, Sandra? Great to see you here. Oh, you already know who it is, Sandra. You already know. I'm sure you've been listening. Oh my God, Sandra, I miss your face, says GLM. Give me a second here. I miss you all. We miss you too, Sandra. We miss you too. But you had to do what you had to do. And including myself, we're all so glad that you're doing well. I have been listening when I can. You know, I appreciate that, Sandra. Thank you. And thank you for your messages behind the scenes. GLM. Then I'll start saying hi when you aren't here. Okay. Oh my God, that was my exact reaction. I got hella excited when I saw Sandra. Well, when we haven't seen someone special and amazing, you're all special and amazing that are here. We love you. But when we haven't seen one of our regulars here, one of our special and amazing regulars here, it's a very special and proud moment when they come back. So thank you for being here, Sandra. And rest up. Get better, because 2026 is going to be unlike anything you've seen. This is going to be finally the year of the GNA that I've been trying to get going for the longest time. And I really think now, based on what you've seen behind the scenes and what you know that many people don't know, Sandra, and you know the executives know all this stuff, right? You know, you're privy to that information. From what you know it's going to be an amazing year. Anyway, to the defendant, you've never been held responsible for anything. You've never accepted responsibility. You don't like the fact that now you're being held responsible. And here's the thing. Here's the truth of the matter. Do I really think that you're pivoting to something else because you want to or because you have to. Because if you don't pivot, then you're just going to more so prove my case and show the court, right? Are you really pivoting because you want to pivot or because you have no other choice? Because I'm leaning more towards the second option. Right? Why would you give up the business you've been running for 6+ years, even if it's off and on? You always had a safe fallback on my name, likeness, and commercially exploiting my name, likeness, and content, right? It's always been the best backup or the best primary source of income for you, right? Why would you, in theory, figuratively speaking, file Chapter 11 on the Eli defamation for dollars business, right? Why would you do that when it's been very profitable for you? And it would still be profitable for you right now. But because you're being sued in a circuit civil case, and you've got someone that you're acting in concert with that's, in my opinion, practically destroyed your case, and then you're trying to present it to your audience like, I look forward to the anti-slap. And when that happens, this whole thing's going to be over. Why? What do you think you're going to pull? Do you think you're going to try to pull that I can't represent myself pro se because I'm a business? No, I can file, and I filed individually. You're not going to get this dismissed on a loophole. There's no way you're going to get this dismissed on a loophole. It's going to be based on the four corners of the complaint, and is what I'm suing you for protected speech or defamation? There's no loophole here, sir. And don't try to convince your audience or myself, but more so, don't try to convince your audience otherwise to try to keep them around any longer, man. They don't want to be there anymore because they know it's over. They know it's over for you and the Eli hate train, right? They know that. Effectively, you are in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Figuratively speaking, you're in Chapter 11 bankruptcy, right? In essence, what that means, sir, if you don't comprehend that, what it means is that the ship has a hole in it and the ship is starting to sink. And eventually the ship will be like the Titanic at the bottom of the ocean. And your choice is, do I stay on the ship, try to save it, and possibly drown, or do I jump off on a life preserver and try to do something else? And you're trying to do something else. But you're also trying to come off like you're doing it by choice. You're not doing it by choice. You don't have a choice. And the thing is, until you start being truthful with your audience and stop lying to them, they're not gonna trust you to want to watch anything besides when you create hate content on me. Because they're not there because of you, or they weren't there because of you. They were there for anyone that was trashing me or defaming me. The last thing you want is to be held accountable for anything. You don't want to be held accountable. And, here's the thing. You've been able to slide under the radar, sir. You've been able to slide under the radar on many things and not be really held accountable. Do you really think that the Granny's Watching Jess restraining order stopped this guy? It didn't cost him any money, right? Didn't cost him any money, and it really hasn't affected him from what makes him money out here, which is myself, my likeness, and my content, right? So, really, even though he lost that case and got a 3-year restraining order on him, and then he tried to appeal with a crappy attorney, And then the court called out the credibility of the defendant here, who was the defendant in that case as well. He was a respondent, that another woman got a stalking order on him and harassment order on him because he made a death threat on her using her image. He tried to use parody as a death threat, and I've actually submitted that to the court as a pattern of the behavior of the defendant. I've submitted what happened in that situation to show Judge Stacy that this is the character of the defendant on YouTube, and it's extremely relevant to his behavior on YouTube. Even though it doesn't involve me, it involves the defendant's character on YouTube. So you've never been held accountable. And right now, you're about to be held accountable. And here's the thing. You can tell your audience whatever you want. You can tell them one thing, but I look at people's behavior. I look at their face, their tone of voice. Your tone of voice, you sound a bit deflated. You sound defeated. You sound like you're out of gas. You sound like you're tired. You want to know why? Because here's the thing. You thought that you were going to be able to get together with that other woman from Florida and wear me down to the point of where I give up. You thought that the both of you could wear me down. Because that's the way you've destroyed people in the past, sir. You wear them down to the point of where they give up. They run out of gas. You emotionally overwhelm them. You harass them so much. You make it so difficult for them to even function by the things you say to them and do to them that they just back off. You tried the same thing with me. You've been doing the same thing with me for over 6+ years, right? You tried to do the same thing from the moment I filed this case, like 3 months ago. You've tried to overwhelm me. You tried to get that other woman to intervene and play games and email the judicial assistant. You folks have played so many games with this case. And then what you've done on YouTube on top of that, you both together and your entire community tried to overwhelm me to the point of where I would give up. And you want to know all that did? It made me work harder, stronger, and smarter. It made me work harder, stronger, and smarter. And guess what? You and that other woman tried so hard to overwhelm me, and you had to put so much effort to try to make it happen. Even though you failed, now you both are worn out. Now you both are worn out, and you deserve to be worn out. Because the both of you together, along with your entire Eli hate clan, couldn't wear me down. Here I am walking in the freaking cold, 50 degrees. And holding the selfie stick for over an hour and talking professionally and calmly. Now, I'm speaking with an elevated tone of voice for emphasis, but I'm not upset. This is my emphasizing voice, right? You thought you could wear me down. You tried to wear me down to the point of where I would just dismiss the case, right? And because you couldn't do it, now you're like, oh shit. Now he's not going to dismiss the case. So now, wow, everything that we did is on the docket. Now we're going to have to face that with the judge. Right. And that's what you're worried about. The damage has been done. The damage has been done, right? You tried the same strategy that you've worn down anyone else that's ever tried to challenge you, either legally or try to get you to stop harassing them and defaming them on YouTube, right? You've tried that. You've worn down these other people, and you've been successful with most of them. All those women that were dealing with your harassment, right? You wore them down, and then they walked away, right? You got many people to walk away. You thought you could use the same tactics on me. You don't really know who I am, sir. You don't know who I am, sir. I will not go down without a fight. And when I say fight, I mean legally. I'm not here. I don't harm people. I don't fist fight. I don't do any of that. I'm not here to hurt anyone. Now, if somebody attacks me, I'll defend myself, but I will not instigate a fight. But when I say fight, I will fight for my rights. I will fight for my civil rights. And I will not back down fighting for my civil rights until justice is served. Until justice is served. And you don't like that. You don't like that because the only place the only place that you can't avoid liability, sir, is in the court of law. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me, folks. The only place this guy can't avoid being held responsible is in the court of law. And he doesn't like that. Because for the first time in his entire life, he's going to be held accountable for his actions. TS says 1. The only place. GLM says 1. Oh, sorry. Lewis Fuller says 1. TS says 1. The only place. The only place. Now, you want to dox my cousin, dude? Are you that triggered? Are you that triggered? Like, listen, my cousin Kia. Well, so what? I mean, do you think that's going to trigger me that you're putting out my cousin Kia's name? It's not a big deal. I can talk about my family. I can mention their names. That doesn't matter. What do you think that's going to do? Sandra says 1. The only place where you can't avoid being held responsible is the court of law. You know it. I know it. Your audience knows it. My audience knows it. Your own internet girlfriend knows it. Your mother and father know it. Everyone knows it. You can't play your charade or your theatrics in the court of law. And that's why you're mad. You're mad because you've been deflecting accountability and liability for years, harming many other people besides me. Me the worst. That's why I took it to this level. You only have yourself to blame for your actions. You only have yourself to blame. You know that. And here's the thing. I bet you if anyone asked you behind the scenes, knowing what you know now, would you go back and do it all over again? If you could, you would have, because it was easy money for you. It was easy money for you. You had never made the money you made commercially exploiting my name. It was big money. It was big, easy money. All you had to do was go live and talk shit about me and defame me and make money and put rainbow penises in my mouth and make money and put brassieres on me and make money and put MAGA hats on me and make money. It was easy money, right? You can't get me to believe, or anyone else here to believe, that if I didn't take you to court, you would still be doing it. Put a 1 in the chat. If you believe, if I didn't sue this guy in court, he would still be defaming me for dollars to this moment. He would still be defaming me for dollars. He would still be rebroadcasting me, at least at times. He would be commercially exploiting me still if I did not take him to court. TS says 1. $74 an hour and 14 minutes, almost an hour and 15 minutes. Right now it's an hour and it's about to turn to 75 minutes. 75 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes. 1, of course, he still is. Oh, he is. Sandra, he is. You're saying he's just doing it on soccer accounts, or he's working through that other Florida woman, right? Of course he still is. Of course, right? He's just not doing it as publicly on his known accounts, and he thinks that we don't know what he's doing. There's already more than enough. There's already more than enough on the docket right now. Like anything else is just more cherries and more whipped cream on top of the several cherries and extra whipped cream that's already on the sundae anyway, right? I'm going to mention one more thing here, because after tonight, and more than likely until the anti-slap hearing happens or something new happens with the case, like I'm not going to be talking about him. Just like I said, I'm not going to talk about the other woman. I had to briefly mention a few things tonight that needed to be corrected for the record, but I didn't really talk about her. I talked about him tonight, and now I'm done. Until something else comes up, there's no need to keep rehashing all of this. So I'm going to come out and say this, defendant. I'm going to come out and say this, and I know you're going to say no. And I'm not afraid. I'm ready to go the distance with you. But if you want a way out of this right now, my settlement offer still stands. One-way conduct terms, court retains jurisdiction, fee shifting of $15,000 per infraction, a 48-hour cure period, something like that. I'll have to write it up. It's something like that. And then there's going to also be money involved. And it's not going to be a drop in the bucket, but it's not going to be something way out of bounds either. But I will tell you this. I have an amount right now, based on the position I feel I'm in, that I'm willing to settle for. That amount will at least double if the case survives and goes to discovery, which is what you fear, sir. What you and the other woman fear is discovery. Discovery will blow this thing wide open, right? Discovery, put a 1 in the chat if you feel discovery will blow this thing wide open, and that's exactly what he fears, right? So here's the thing. You could settle with me right now for half of the amount that it would cost you once we enter discovery. Because once we enter discovery, that amount doubles at least. And if you don't settle, then guess what? We're going to subpoena Discord. We're going to subpoena YouTube, Google. We're going to subpoena the platforms. We're going to subpoena sock accounts. We're going to subpoena everything. One. Here's the thing. You can set a sock account in here. Probably it might be him. Go slurp on a rainbow. Hey. You can say that right now, but hey, you know, when the court signs a court order to subpoena all the platforms, and it further proves what you're doing and further embarrasses you, is that what you want? Like honestly, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash. Like, the more and more, like, your ego's like, no way, I'm never settling, I'm going all the way. That's fine, we can go all the way. But I'm telling you what's coming. You're trying to lead your audience to believe that you have anti-slap in the bag. You don't. You have none of it in the bag. You know that, right? You know you have to get my entire case wiped out through the MTD, motion to dismiss, and anti-slap, and that's highly unlikely. Even if one thing survives, we head into discovery. And then everything is being subpoenaed. And then everything is going to be turned upside down. You don't want that, right? At that point, you're going to want to settle. It's going to cost you more than twice as much of the price right now. I'm just letting you know. I know you're not going to do it. I'm saying you want to get out of this cheap, and I have the right to negotiate. I can negotiate publicly if I want. I can say whatever I want. It's a public case. You do the same thing on your channel. I can say it here. It doesn't matter. I'll put it out there publicly. This is the cheapest settlement you're going to get. And it's still going to cost you some money because you've made substantial profits off of me for the last several years. Now, if we go the distance, you're going to be dealing with punitive damages. That could be, that could award me more than what I would even be asking. So the thing is, either way, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to make it simple. Like, I've got all the time in the world. If this case takes 2 years before we get to the end, I've got all the time in the world and plenty of more time to submit more evidence as you create the issues. Because if I know anything about you, you cannot contain your cool. You cannot contain your cool. If I know anything about you, you cannot stay cool for too long. You have a breaking point, and you typically end up snapping. Now, for your own sake, I hope you don't snap, but I just know how you've been. Is that all Jay has to say? Do you think that suck account was Jay, Sandra? Or do you think that was someone else? No, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Get your final questions, comments, and concerns in the chat. We're going to be going off the air in just a few minutes. I've got a lot of love for all of you. Respectfully, maturely, and professionally, Don says, with the ending quote of the stream, rise high enough that the loudest troll becomes nothing more than an echo below you. This goes out to the fans in Florida. Have a great night, and wake up being better. One more time. Are you trying to threaten me? Whoever's trolling here, you trying to? You don't scare me. I mean, honestly, you don't scare me. What are you gonna threaten me with? Right? What are you gonna do? You're clear across the country, right? You're not gonna do a damn thing about it. You're just a keyboard warrior hiding behind the keyboard because you're not man enough to show your face and use your real name to comment, right? So you've got to hide behind the computer. I'm walking here at a park. It's cold. I got my jacket on. I'm holding the selfie stick. I'm live on the air. Here's my face. My name is Elias Melas. I'm in Redwood City. Where are you? You're hiding behind some keyboard in Neverland, right? Like, seriously, you want to compare who has more guts than the other person? I'm not here to compare anything. I'm here to help people better their lives, right? I'm here to help people better their lives, but I got to clear the lanes for that to happen. And I'm also here to help people understand that if somebody is blocking your lane, even on social media, and they're harassing you, they're defaming you, reach out to us. We can help you and suggest the right path for you to better protect yourself. One more time what Don said. Well, let me see. Lewis says that the defendant seems like he is in too much if he keeps putting in appropriate things in other people's mouths. Yeah, you're probably right, Lewis. I'm not going to say that P word, but you know what I'm saying, right? Respectfully, maturely, and professionally, Don says, rise high enough that the that rise high enough that the loudest troll becomes nothing more than an echo below you. This goes out to the fans in Florida. Have a good night. So have a great night, and wake up being better. Right. Tomorrow's Friday, huh, babe? Tomorrow's Friday. I support you. Well, who is that? Tia, Dawn, can one of you check out that channel that just popped in there and let me know when that channel was created? Why won't she agree for you to meet the process server at the courthouse in your city? I'm not going out of county to find this. Well, she didn't send Twiggy. She actually, supposedly, she put some screenshots out using ABC Legal. See, I'm the one that used ABC Legal first. Now all these people use ABC Legal. They all found out about ABC Legal through me, and they're going to say otherwise. But anyway, so ABC Legal is the best. They're good. They have a great tracking system. They have great independent contractors as process servers. They're professional. They're quick, as long as they have the right information, right? I don't know. I can tell you this, GLM, that case is in the wrong jurisdiction. You're in California. It's in Florida. She's saying that the long arm statute, comes into play because she claims you harmed her in her state, which I know you didn't, so that's not going to fly. She's also trying to sue for defamation in a small claims case, and typically defamation was meant to be heard in the higher court, the full circuit civil court in Florida, or here in California they call it civil unlimited. A civil unlimited case here in California is the same type of case that I have in Florida with the defendant. As it's the same type of case as a circuit civil case. They just call it circuit civil in Florida. They call it civil unlimited here in California, meaning you could sue for whatever the hell you want, and it's not small claims is just for small monetary losses here in California, maximum $12,500 for a small monetary loss. They're not typically for like defamation, because a small claims court judge cannot grant you any injunctive relief. That case is just all messed up. It's all for theatrics. It's all for YouTube theatrics, in my opinion, right? And I'll just say this one more time. I wasn't going to say anything, but, she keeps trying to threaten to sue me. And she keeps saying that she can file this special motion to get the settlement agreement. She's claiming I violated the settlement agreement, or at least she's trying to use that for YouTube theatrics, and she's filing in the same case or something like that, filing with the court to do that. The only way that can happen is if she files a completely new small claims case. It's not possible. Why? Because she did not, neither her nor I retained jurisdiction with the court. And that settlement agreement that we made was a private settlement agreement. We then dismissed the case without prejudice, meaning we can both refile if we want. The case was dismissed without prejudice because we have a settlement agreement. The court did not retain jurisdiction. All the court said was there will be a settlement, there'll be a hearing scheduled to make sure the settlement, there was $1,000 amount and another stipulation to contact YouTube to try to get her channel back. And I paid the $1,000. I tried to get the channel back. I fulfilled my entire obligation. And then we made the court aware that, hey, this thing is done, right? So they dismissed it with prejudice. We didn't have to go to that other hearing 3 months later. So anyway, it doesn't matter. Whatever. Like I said yesterday, I want her to sue me. I look forward to her suing me. She knows if she sues me, it's over for her. She's not gonna sue me now with the mountains of evidence I have. Plus, I'm well protected now compared to what I was years ago when she played those games with me. So hey, whatever. It is what it is. She can make, if she's gonna make her content and talk a little smack about me every day, and not use my content, whatever. That's all she's got. Her along with the defendant that I'm suing. They both live in Florida. They have placed their entire identity around my haters and my content and all that. So there's your answer. I hope that makes sense. We're at 90 minutes now, an hour and a half. I would agree to giving her $5,000 if she agrees to leave my child alone. She refused. I don't know if I believe that, GLM. You were going to donate money to her? This is not even. I'll tell you this. Part of this is about money for that woman in Florida, but also it's about optics. It's about the perception of what that audience thinks of her, right? And if she takes money from you and ends that war, then she's got no other content on that end. Same thing with me. If she stops talking about me, she has no content, right? She's an attention seeker. Well, she's that's bald tires in the rain. Oh, he's okay, Sandra. Sandra didn't know. That's ODN's friend. Is that the real bald tires in the rain, or is that the sock account? I don't think that's the real bald tires in the rain. Can somebody check and see when that bald tires in the rain account was created? Because it says "in the rain." I thought it was "in the rain." Can somebody check? I think that might be somebody that's duplicated. When was Bald Tires in the Rain's channel started? You're the one? Okay. Okay. May 25, 25. Bald Tires in the Rain has been around. Is that the real one? You checked the channel? Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Sorry, but I just wanted to make sure. The real Bald Tires in the Rain is absolutely welcome here. But Sandra didn't know that because while she was away for a little while is when he started to come back. Hey, Gordo, how you doing? Welcome to the show. All right, folks, I got to run. I'm going to run an errand real quick, and then I'm going to go spend time with my lady. I look forward to it. I hang out with ODN on PUBG. Oh, okay, cool. I should probably do that sometime. All right, folks, leaving 37 in the box, 94 minutes, an hour, and 34 minutes. Have a good one. Take care, and as always, be good to each other. You're welcome, Tia. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you all. Love you all. Have a good night. See you all tomorrow.